If you've always wanted to support the show with your hard-earned cash, now's the time to pause, go to Patreon, and search out FNRad. Join one of our tiers. You'll get ad-free episodes every week, one day early, plus more cool stuff. The FNRad Snowboard Podcast is presented by Skyview Campers, Never Summer's innovative take on the tiny home. Designed and built in beautiful Colorado, check out skyviewcampers.com. Wired Snowboards builds quality snowboards by hand 10 minutes away from my house. Visit wiredsnowboards.com and order one today. Fix Snowboard Bindings are simple, durable, and functional, featuring tool-free adjustments and a lifetime warranty on buckles and base trays. Fix makes bindings you can count on. Jason Bros created Fix after a bald-face trip where his bindings failed and he vowed to build the world something better. I've been riding Fix buckles for the last 3 seasons, and they're still like brand new. He's on to something. Fix, snowboard bindings built better. Rip Curl outerwear, strength, durability, and performance. Designed to search further in the snow, head to ripcurl.com and check out the Anti-Series jacket. I can't wait to rock this thing. The Boardroom Snowboard Shop. Best selection, best prices, Vancouver's premier snowboard shop. Go to boardroomshop.com and use code FNRAD10 to save 10% off your next purchase. New Greens, 100% organic, vibrant green juice. Buy yourself some at newgreens.com and use code FNRAD at checkout for 20% off. And for a chance to try New Greens for free, listen to the end of the show. Hey listeners, when I first started snowboarding, my inspiration was snowboarders in exile era Damien, because he went bigger than anyone and had such rad style even in hard boots. A lot of that early Damien footage was recorded in resort, and this week's guest, Arthur Longo, has taken in-resort snowboarding to a whole new level. Arthur's solid career of video parts and competition results stands on its own, showcasing his powerful style. But his side hits experience videos are what bring me right back to looking around the resort for creative features. I caught up with Arthur in Nelson, BC, where he was settling into a new spot, which coincidentally is the house that past guest John Buffrey built. And while I was setting up the recording gear, Arthur's good buddy Enzo hopped on the mic in his bombhole hat, excited to be on a podcast himself.
My name is Enzo Pensiero.
Yeah.
Yup.
And how long have you been a bombhole listener?
I've been a bombhole listener since day one.
Nice. Yeah.
You know?
What's your favorite bombhole episode?
Pretty obvious. Definitely Jeff Pensiero. You should give it a listen.
Yeah, I just did. I listened to the whole thing on the way here today.
Really?
It was really good. Yeah. It's really thorough. Your dad's had a crazy life, hey?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost half his life has been bald-face.
It's nuts. Yeah. So, have you ever gotten in the cat?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
Like a lot of times, a couple times?
Yeah, I go up on Christmas and kind of go, yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get access to a lot of good terrain.
What kind of board would you choose if you're going into the cat?
I haven't ridden one yet. I hope to try one this year, but banked country. My dad got one, and he says it's like the best board ever. So, yeah, this year I'm riding a Signal. Yeah, I haven't ridden it yet, but it looks pretty cool. Bow, 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 bow. Oh, yeah.
So what's your first memory of going snowboarding?
First memory of going snowboarding?
Yeah.
Bunny Hill at Whitewater.
Nice.
I remember it was like they had like a mini park up, and there was like a box there, and I hit my first box, and it was pretty fun.
That's your first memory. It's like,
doing this.
Yeah,
my first one.
Yeah. That's sick. It wasn't your first day, though, because you would have been riding since you were I
rode skis for like the first 3 months, and then my dad kind of got me a snowboard.
Yep.
So, yeah.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to be when you grow up, you think?
That's a really good question. I don't think I've figured it out yet.
No, of course you're 12.
Yeah, I'm only 12.
Yeah. So you'll be older.
I'd be way older when I figure it out.
Are you leaning towards anything? What are your interests?
Probably something to do with like business or something like that.
No, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you've got one of the most business savvy dads in the world.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'll probably go to college for I don't know, whatever I feel like I should go to college for, you know?
Yep.
Whether it's business or something like that.
Dope.
Yeah.
Sick Fart Boys sweater, by the way.
Yeah.
So good.
Fart Boys?
Yeah, those
They're
dudes
the
are dope.
bomb. The bomb hole.
So you're in grade
7.
7.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big grade. So next year is high school. Is that right? Out here?
No, our high school starts at grade 10.
Oh,
It used to
jeez.
start at grade 9.
So are you in junior high right now?
Yeah. I'm in
7, 8, 9.
It's 6, 7, 8, 9.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Our school, it's just so
That's
big.
wild.
Like, it used to be 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And then they added grade 6s in, like, 2018.
Yeah.
And then the year before last year, they added grade 9s.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's just so, there's, like, I think, like, 20 students to one teacher. So,
That's not too bad.
yeah, but
30-something is a lot. I think some of the classes I was in were in the 30s.
yeah, we have, like, 600 kids.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's it like growing up in Nelson? What do you think it's like compared to like Vancouver or some other city?
I think it's great because there's a lot little light pollution and stuff like that.
That's true.
You know, so it's a nice environment. Not
Yeah.
a lot of air pollution and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of knows each other.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think living here is great because you also have like really, really good mountains. You have like Baldface back there, Valhalla's, and you have like Whitewater and Selkirk.
Yep.
So yeah.
That's dope.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a nice place. A lot of good people up here.
Yeah, it's great.
It feels very much like a quintessential BC ski town,
Yeah.
right? Like just everybody is geared up for
Yeah,
getting
everyone's so excited for winter to start.
down. Yeah. We're a little late this year, aren't we?
Oh my god. I was watching my dad's little Instagram on November 2nd.
Yeah.
He was like fully plowing. I went to
Nice.
the lodge this weekend.
Yeah.
And I think we got like 15 Cs overnight.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But yeah.
Sick. Well, thanks for being on the show, buddy.
Yeah, no problem.
You got any words of wisdom from the 12-year-old youths of
Words of wisdom.
the snowboard community?
Follow Arthur Longo.
Yeah.
Yeah, words of wisdom.
That's great. Yeah, you opened for Arthur Longo here on the show.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's dope.
Hey Arthur, you should come on the show.
Oh, that'd be cool. We can really use this too. That'll
We
be great.
could really use Arthur. Thank you.
Thanks, Enzo.
You're done? I thought like at some point I was like so lucky to meet so many interesting people. I should like kind of like keep track on it, and like podcast could have been a thing, or like writing a few things, or
A journal.
interview.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
The people.
Yeah, there's no barrier to entry. You can literally on a phone now
Yeah.
record video and edit it and put it out.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's so much
It's
access.
good, but not everybody's doing it, and not everybody's good at it.
Well, it's kind of the same with anything, right?
Yeah,
like
same
a
with
lot of people are
anything.
like, I'm gonna do
you look at
this thing.
like some art, and you're like, it's so easy
Yeah.
to say, oh, I could have done that, but nobody did it. Like only one person did it, and you still have to do it. Someone has to do it.
Yeah. Are you inspired to do art by other Volcom riders like Jamie and
Yeah, for sure.
Gooch and like people
Yeah.
just putting
Mike
together?
Rav, Desiree.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so many.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also comes from the American culture, which seemed to be more easy about American or Canadian.
Sure.
We're
Yeah.
in Canada.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. What
you know,
mean
more
there?
like the West.
Sure.
Seem to be way more accepting of like trying crafts in general without being a professional at it, like
right.
maybe in France, like to be an artist you have to be in an art school, or to be like pretty on point about the art world or some stuff like this. But I feel that here it's more of a it's pretty free, and
Yeah.
that's what I got from Jamie and Gooch, and like being with these guys that would like make art, like, you know, at dinner on, like, you know, if you have dinner with Jamie, he's gonna take a Sharpie and like draw something on the towel.
That's so cool.
Yeah, on the napkin.
Yeah, and then somebody's gonna
Yeah.
really want to get that.
Yeah. And there's no, like, you know, there's no border, there's no shame, there's no, oh, you have to be one of the best at it or whatever.
Right.
You're just like doing it. And
I have no idea about France,
yeah.
but it sounds like it's like a social democracy. So there's like a little bit more like support. If you want to be an artist,
Yeah.
then you go to art school.
Yeah.
You do, like, you
Yeah.
follow that path.
Yeah.
As opposed to like in America, it's kind of like
Yeah.
anything goes.
Yeah, we have a lot of like the country is like funding a lot of art, is definitely funding like the movie industry, which is big, and the movie culture in France. Like,
Yep.
you know, there's like so many like famous French movie
Filmmakers. Yeah,
Filmmakers.
of course.
And so it's definitely more of a place where you'd be able to learn the craft like from scratch, and like you know, really follow a path as an artist or something. But it's also maybe more complicated to start it. Like, you know, it's not like something you take lightly, like
Right. Just on a whim.
Of course the kids are like taking pens and like doing stuff, but in my family making art was not like a thing, or, you know, that really came later from like the tattoo stuff, the first tattoos I got, and definitely people like Jamie, Mike Rav, and Desiree. Yeah,
That's rad.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
super rad. Did you ever run into, this is a question that just dates me like crazy, like someone like Regis Roland? What's he like over there? Is he like, is it like, oh, right, that's our Craig Kelly, that's our guy, Regis Roland? Or is he just like
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So when I was 18 or 19, I started to write for Epo.
Apo, cool,
So that was
cool.
his second brand.
I think his third brand,
His
because there was
third.
Apocalypse,
Yeah.
then there was A Boards with
Yeah.
David Vincent,
Yeah.
and then there was
His third
yeah.
try.
Yeah, his third go.
Going
Yeah,
into
yeah.
business.
He's a crazy businessman, right?
Yeah.
So did you get to meet him?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
ride with
I
him?
signed the contract with him.
I love it. I love this
and
so
then
much.
they had a little office somewhere in France, and then
Yeah.
I was going there and like meeting Regis and he's. I think how to say this. It's like maybe, you know, you look further out like a little bit in your inspiration a bit.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, like Greg Kelly and like. I don't know, it could be anyone, but you're looking at the Americans, you're not looking at the French guy,
Right.
Regis Roland, which is in front of your eyes and could be inspiring, but
Yes.
in some ways this is not the person that you look at.
Yeah, you don't want to be, you know, hooked up with the
It's-
local guy,
yeah,
the
it's-
local shop,
I
the
don't
local
know why.
brand. Sure,
It's just
yeah.
later on you realize how much impact they had on
Yeah.
our sport. And you know, when it's just so blunt in front of your eyes, you don't realize the chance you have to be in front of these people.
Totally.
And but now, like, if we talk about Regis, yeah, for sure, like, big legend. Like,
What a crazy dude, too.
Yeah,
He
crazy
was
dude.
riding by himself, no other snowboarders.
Yeah.
He was creating whatever snowboarding was for him
Yeah,
without any outside influence.
yeah,
It's just mind-boggling.
yeah.
Plus, he had unlimited heli. Unlimited.
What? Like, from where? Like,
Okay, so he was at what is the famous resort where it's different elevations?
Les Arcs?
It was at Les Arcs,
Yeah,
and they were opening the highest elevation.
yeah.
and so they wanted to promote it with a film,
Okay.
and that's what became Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
But he's the only one on a snowboard in that.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was the only one there with the snowboard.
Yeah,
He got one from Dmitry Milovich from Winterstick, and he broke it.
Yeah.
And then he just traced one,
Yeah.
made his own,
Yeah.
painted it with house paint. That yellow board is house paint on the
Okay.
bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he made that whole series of film
Yeah.
with helicopters.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Legend. Yeah, these movies are priceless. Amazing.
Yeah. I don't even know when that was.
Timeless.
82 or something. So long ago.
Yeah,
And so when you go back and see them, you're like,
they're so cool.
I can't believe he did
It
that.
cannot be more cool than this.
Like 007. Unreal.
Yeah.
So did you move to... Wait, you still live in France?
Yeah, I live in Chamonix.
Yeah, so what was your first American sponsorship setup?
It's a good question. I rode for Volcom like for forever, kinda.
Cool.
It's like if we talk in years, it's been like 18 years or something.
That's
like this.
amazing.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
But at some point, like I was like, because they have a base in France, Europe.
Of course.
And at some point it shifted more towards like, I'm in a global team. I'm like managed by from the guys over here.
Yeah, you're getting paid by a different entity.
Yeah,
and
and then you're the person you talk to is different, and
team manager for global. That's cool.
So I don't know when that was, but that was pretty late in my career. I feel that I don't love to call it a career. It was just like, a path of life, like snowboarding. It was never like, I want to reach this or that, or
just
the
Olympics or some goal.
And unfold the way they did. But at some point, pretty late in my career, my point was that I was always like climbing up a little bit, and then so like dealing with the Americans came later. Came a bit later.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but that's still a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago.
Right. The one thing I do know about you is that your snowboarding in the public eye is extremely fun. You know what I mean? Like it's not, I don't know that much about your career, but I don't feel like you were like a competitive. Did you do like competition snowboarding?
I did a bunch of competition, but
what era?
Like TTR, really like. So anyway, the way to start snowboarding like a little bit more seriously when you're in France, like at my time, like let's say early 2000, it was through competitions, like half pipe mainly.
Yep.
And then that was like a good chance of like being on the road, like having friends to ride with, or like meeting other nations, and like to go for the first time in I don't know where, like in Czech Republic.
Sick.
For the Junior World Cup or whatever.
Yeah. That's fun.
So, that was like kind of like a good thing, and also not a thing I ever wished for, to be like competing, because I'm not. Well, some could say that I'm really competitive, but in the same time, I don't like the idea of like trying to be better than someone else at something, and luckily snowboarding is something that allows you to not have to be judged, or you can do it your own way.
Full, just like self-expression.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully I'm not losing your audience right now. But
no.
What is my point? My point is that I did a lot more competition than what I would naturally have been doing.
Yeah.
But they always been an amazing way to travel, to ride like so many days when you actually do the contest with like the national teams and stuff. You ride so much more than when you film, for instance.
Right.
And it's something I totally enjoyed.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why I was really pursuing this way.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it about contests. Yeah, but I'm not in like my inner self is not too much into like I don't know if I'm like really I want to be better than someone else, and I want to show some people that will like tell me if I'm better than someone else. Or
Right.
You go to nature, you do your thing.
Yeah.
Also, when you film, you allow yourself to show exactly what you want to show about your how you express yourself on the snowboard.
Of course, you have more of a say.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at a contest format,
Yeah.
you basically
Yeah.
you have to go when they say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Johan talking about Johan Olesen got a reputation as being difficult to shoot with.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't wait for camera crews.
Yeah.
Because he's at the top of something and he's going, okay, am I ready? Am I ready? Like, and he's like psyching himself up.
Yeah.
And they're like calling him on the radio, like, give us a minute, like there's no film in the canister or whatever. And he's just like, okay, I'm going.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here to do this.
Yeah.
Those guys either get it or they don't. It's
Yeah.
not up to me. I'm
Yeah.
not sitting here getting cold
Yeah.
and then dropping in when I'm not ready.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes the timing when you're really ready to do something is like super short.
Yeah, of course.
Like you're like, because of course you're stressed about the spot, you're a little scared and all that, and there's that one moment where you're like, I'm ready, and when the guys are not ready, if they're not, like it's really frustrating.
I can't
or
imagine.
when you're like, okay, putting the goggles on and there's fog inside, and it's
Ugh.
like, holy no, I want it to drop right now, because like
Right.
it's in your legs, in your body, you have to do it like right now. You don't want to wait like a bit longer for this to happen.
Yeah.
I get this feeling all the time.
I love the clips that you have. They're so uniquely you. I mean, there's other people doing in resort big stuff, sure.
Yeah.
But like every time you drop a clip, it's like, oh my God, look at that. So like, it seems so natural. It almost feels like you're just riding a resort with your buddies. And then, yes, okay, you go set up over there. And someone just like pulls out their phone and gets this clip.
Yeah.
They're not pretentious. They're not like big film production, helicopter view, following you in 3 different angles, one in the air.
Yeah.
But just now you saying this, I'm like, oh yeah. I can imagine you would be scared if you're going to be airing over some ginormous gap and trying to find like a small transition after flying like in an insane amount.
Yeah.
Like, do you get a lot of attempts at these things? A lot of them.
Yeah, actually, like, I want to say, like, some really good quality stuff could happen, like, pretty easily for some reason. And they happen sometimes not to be filmed. But what we try to showcase by filming them is this kind of like natural thing and like a bit of ease,
Yes.
So this doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Like like skateboarding, I feel that like, like a trick could be landed like 5 or like 10 times or how many times, but before the guy is like, okay, this is the energy I like about the shot or about the way I did it, like perfectly in some ways, without wanting to say perfect, because
I understand.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
But the right way.
Yes.
Yeah. So there could be many attempts for sure, and sometimes it could come pretty easy. Yeah,
that's dope.
It's kind of
It
no rules.
looks like it comes so easy. That's what like the.
It's kind of the goal to try to make it like flowy.
Yeah.
But it is for sure, like when you come to a spot, it's like you see that spot because it has to be written in some ways, and so there's already something kind of natural about it, you know.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it kind of happens naturally. Yeah, I would say.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when did you first gravitate towards that? Like, what was the first like side hits experience? Was it even called that?
Yeah, in French we say bord de piste. It's like the side of the slopes. You know?
Yeah.
And it is the place wherever there's a bump or like something to fly off. You know?
Yeah.
So I've always done that. Always trying, like even when I was like in school, when I was 7, 8, 9, whatever, I was like skiing and I was already trying to catch as much air as I could on the side of the slope. So
Sick.
I would say it always happened.
Yeah.
And also when I was competing, because we were talking about competing, usually I remember like my teammates sometimes without wanting to talk shit about them, but they would like straight line to the half pipe.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, we're just like there's like a like gigantic slope, and then they would want to be to the half pipe like as soon as possible, and I was just taking so much more time to get to the half pipe because it was the most exciting moment of the slope, not the half pipe part.
Right.
Yeah. So it always happened.
That's very cool. Yeah. I think that comes across in the clips, in my viewing of them. It's like, this is something this guy's always been doing. Yeah, very natural. And a inspiring way to ride a mountain, because it as a rider, you see it and you go, oh, we gotta look for something floaty like that. Like, look how he's, oh my god, it's like under a chairlift or something. Bam, he's like right in bounds. Yeah. And there was a lot more of that back in the early 90s. Right? Like, that's where it all came from.
I think we for a very long time we entered an era where it was like anything we film has to be, you know, like the best way we could evolve like was to go bigger. To be in the sun, to show as much powder as possible, to show as less tracks as possible, and to see the riders like spin as much as possible or whatever. That was the evolution, the normal evolution, I would say, because it had to happen. But I got really tired of these big productions at some point. They were not inspiring me so much, and I feel that it was time to show some less prepared stuff. Whatever, if there's a tourist like on the foreground or the background or whatever.
Perfect.
Whatever, if there's tracks in the landing, because the landing is actually rideable, so why not riding it, and things like this. So I went this way, and I realized that people were not bothered or like not
they were
against
stoked.
it. So I just pursued this way a little bit.
That's really fun. I mean, it's been amazing to watch it. Like,
thank you.
One of my favorites for sure. Like when a clip comes through, you talk about it with your buddies. You're like, oh my god, did you see that one? Like I said with Devin, when you did the side hit at Seymour, the first things that I heard was like, wow, we've been riding here for years and we never saw that, from a few people. And then Devin was like, we hit that. Yeah, we hit that. But it was, not exactly like that.
Yeah.
But he was also very impressed. Like, oh, that was sick. Like, it's a bit about showcasing how you would ride, even if the mountain is not overwhelmingly... Like you just said, it's not, okay, we didn't take snowmobiles into the backcountry and find a spot that's never been done before.
Yeah.
It's like, this is just, I remember hearing that you were up at Seymour.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, oh, Arthur's at Seymour, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's go there and see what he's going to do. This is sick.
Yeah. No, but I when you arrive in Seymour, for sure, like, you're not like arriving and thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do something that someone never did. Like,
Right.
You like will never have this pretension or like.
Exactly.
You
Sure.
know, it's like, and it's like I didn't like. I mean, even saying this sounds like super stupid to myself, but like, of course, I didn't create side hits. They always existed. Like,
Right.
everybody did what I'm doing before.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So I'm just like picking inspiration from what happened in the past and like and doing it with my own way and
Which is dope.
yeah.
Let's pause here and have some food with these
Okay,
guys, and then we'll come back to it. If you're cool with that. You've ridden with Buffrey?
No, never.
ever?
No.
He's never been like a guide or a...
No.
Because this is a house he built with his hands.
I know.
How
yeah.
nuts is that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing for sure. And I start to hear more and more about Buff.
Yeah.
Because I'm here, you know, and
He's a legend.
it's funny because just before you came and you interviewed Jeff, so I was like, maybe it's time to really listen to his bomb hole. So I was like, just before he came, like I started to listen to the bomb hole and Buff came up for sure again. And
Yeah. He's a really important person
and
in the...
Estelle is really admiring him. And yeah.
Well, he took on a very fatherly role for Olivia when Craig passed,
Yeah.
which is really just so sweet.
Yeah.
He's just a sweet person, it seems like, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, what he's chosen to do with his life, snow safety. But I mean, I was talking with Jeff about him today. He's like, he's just a person. He's just a person like anyone else.
Yeah.
We busted his ass. We busted his chops.
Yeah.
Who were your dudes that you would ride with growing up? Were there other pros that were in your group of friends kind of thing?
Yeah, pros maybe not, but like older people, like, you know, like kind of local heroes and
Dope.
yeah, for sure. My dad is a photographer, so he was taking photos of like these guys like in the backcountry and
Wow.
yeah,
Rad.
I would go with them on sessions and stuff like
Oh, that's so fucking cool.
yeah, they would like build a hip and I would be there with them like checking how it's done, you know, and watching the session, and that was insane, like to be able to see it like not on a movie but like in front of me, in front of my eyes.
In Europe, there's no snowmobiles.
No.
Everything's hiking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
or never too far from the, you know, from the chairlift. So
yeah, so you could like go back, go up, and then you're kind of on the side. You got to do a little
ideally,
hike. Yeah.
I think the idea is not to walk as much as possible.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
If we had sleds, we'd probably use them. But
Well,
yeah,
we
we don't have this. So.
I was surprised to hear that there are no sleds
Yeah.
in the Alps, really.
Yeah, no, not really. Like a little bit in Italy and a few places, but
Yeah.
it's nothing. It's not. Even the terrain is not really made for it. So.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just-
we don't have like logging roads, you know, like
Right.
things going to the Alpine. And
Right.
No, it's like.
And then what about heli? There's no heli there either.
No, in Switzerland a little bit. I never flown there, so. There's not much of fuel spent for
Right.
the pleasure of snowboarding there.
That's incredible.
Yeah, just the chairlifts.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons that the entire European scene was sort of isolated from that American thing.
Yeah,
Because early on, people would go over and film there. But then as soon as there were sleds, it's just like you can get 20 laps
yeah,
for, you know, and a reset before the light moves,
yeah,
as opposed to like a quite a bit slower pace
yeah, for
in
sure.
the Alps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it shapes up like differently, like the way of riding and the way of like picking your spot and like discovering the terrain. Like, of course, you always like you want to see like the next mountain and like.
So yeah, you prefer the pace in France to the pace in America, do you think?
I don't know what I prefer, but the little bit I experienced with the sled, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent one season doing it with Jack Price.
Nice.
Full season, and I kind of like learned from the best, and
Yeah.
that was really exciting, and I didn't mind it. But it's different. You wake up crazy early. You put gas in the sled. Like you start in the dark, and like in Europe we can't start it before the lifts are running, so
Right.
we're chill. It's very different.
Yeah.
And we're out generally, or it depends, but sometimes you need a lift to get back to your car or whatever, so you never end up too late as well. So
Right.
we have shorter days. Europe, working a little less than in America in general.
Yeah.
Same goes for snowboarding.
I
Yeah.
was definitely worn out by the idea of up before the sun comes up, gas up the sled, drive the hour
Yeah.
to the spot, unload the truck, get up there. It's, so like you're getting up there while the light's really good.
Yeah.
Riding all day, coming back, it's starting to get dark. There's whoops. You're just like
Yeah.
getting beat down.
Yeah.
And then driving home in the dark just after that
Yeah.
whole day of
Yeah.
insanity.
And wanting only one thing is to go to bed and to put your alarm clock for the next.
I started
next
smoking
morning.
again. Like, oh my God, I needed smoke. That was crazy. I think in the morning somebody got swept by an avalanche. Like
Yeah.
it's getting more. Like people are going out earlier in storms and stuff too
Yeah.
around where we are.
Yeah.
It's just getting more crowded.
Yeah.
So the incentives are to go a little bit earlier, and that's not good. It's not always good.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess there's places where you don't have to rush too much, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or as much. But if you sled in January, the days are short anyway, and
True.
and you're likely to start in the dark and end up in the dark for sure. And
Totally.
yeah. But I don't mind it, and I quite like this adventure feeling you get from the sleds, and
So cool.
having to be responsible for yourself, and like not really counting on anybody else than your crew, and having this kind of freedom of you see this mountain, we don't know if we have access to it, but we're gonna try to put a track there, and
Isn't that insane?
get there.
Yeah.
So it's quite amazing as well.
And then you've got a small crew in this huge zone
Yeah.
that's just like nothing you've ever been in before.
Yeah.
So dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been making your full living from snowboarding for what, like 15 years or something?
Yeah, I would say so, even longer. Like,
Damn.
Yeah.
Like, did you graduate? Like, did you go to a school?
Yeah,
or
I went to
something like
high
that?
school. We were talking about it with competition. Competition was like fully integrated to the school program. So we would be free during the winter since I was like 14 or
Oh
something.
my God.
Yeah. I was in a boarding school, and then
Yep.
and then we'd be free for the winter, and then I graduated high school, and I went also like to another school after that for like 2 years for like marketing stuff, which
Yeah.
I would have never chose if it wasn't for like the program was like good for snowboarding.
Sure.
Still like free
The
winters and stuff.
timeline. Yeah.
But I would have chose other studies if it wasn't for snowboarding.
So somebody told me this year that the Alps are like, all of the Alps are like the size of the Whistler backcountry or less.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the size quite well of British Columbia yet.
Sure,
'cause
sure,
it's,
sure.
It's just huge.
Right.
If you go from west to east of the Alps, it's like covering maybe 5 to 6 countries. But it's quite small compared to the terrain in Canada, and here like there's no cities between the east and the west, or like bigger cities,
Right.
as in the Alps, like there's like there's population everywhere, and like there's villages everywhere you could imagine in the mountains.
And so, is there lift access to most of this stuff as well? Like small lifts everywhere?
Obviously not on
Not on everything gnarly
every mountain,
or whatever. Yeah.
but there's a ton of resorts, and I don't know half of them, and I'm trying to get to know a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we keep going to the same places, and after a while you're like, no, there's like so many unknown family little resorts we have to discover as well, and I'm trying to put the effort in like finding out about them, and finding new places.
Yeah. Is that like, what kind of creative projects do you have on the go right now? Is that something that you've thought about?
For snowboarding?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna do a Volcom movie this year.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's pretty amazing. Like that's maybe the first time like properly in a long time. So it's gonna be kind of my movie a little bit directed with Ollie, my best friend.
Sick.
So the two of us are gonna like kind of take a bit of the command of the ship for this.
Sick.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, and we're gonna try to highlight the younger people from the team as much as possible, and hopefully some feminine snowboarding as well.
Killer.
So it just it's a little bit around me, but we'll just try to give space to the other people.
I like it. Yeah. You obviously grew up watching like the Volcom movies. Yeah,
for sure.
What a legacy there. It's an incredible brand.
Yeah, the Vico production, for sure. It's like anything you can do for them is like quite amazing. So yeah, there's a legacy, as you say, and you want to do your best, and you're like, if they're like supporting a project that you want to do, then you know it's like you have to do well. And you want to do well, and you want to do it in this Volcom way, which is like pretty inspiring anyway.
Yes. Yeah, that's dope, man. I'm
Yeah.
excited for that.
Yeah.
Do you know if it'll be, well, I guess it depends on the snow. So sometimes these things turn into 2-year projects, right? Like it can be.
Yeah, we try to keep it under 2. And no, I'm not like super for the 2 years projects kind of style. I feel that not that it's a waste of time, but it's like, how do you know if it's gonna be even better the second year? It might be even worse.
Right. Then you're adding
I'm
more
into like kind of like shorter projects, and like I feel that a window of a season for a project is pretty good, and I like to stick to that. And of course, if it's a gong show, we're gonna go into 2 years.
Right.
That's not. We try to avoid that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What are your favorite projects that you've filmed for so far?
That's a good question, and I think maybe the first one was like really important for me, because I was like learning how to film, and like learning from people like Freddie Calvert Maten.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So I was like kind of in the backcountry with Freddie and with the older people, you know. So when you're young and you're learning from the people that have done it for a while, you know, I feel that it's really impactful. And so maybe the first one I did was like Yeah Love. You probably never really heard of it. It's like it's really Euro like little production, but they did amazing movies, and I was a part of it. I was like pretty stoked, and then I've been with the Pirates production for years.
Yep.
And that also shaped me, and like I learned so much from filming with them, and we had like a really good connection together. Some other movies, like I feel that like you remember Stronger, maybe, for the Union movie.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this one was like really cool because I rode with Kazoo here in Revelstoke, in Eagle Pass, in the most insane conditions.
That was nuts.
Yeah, there was like really memorable. But I feel that all the projects in some ways they kind of like a little bit of like a picture of a little time of your life, and that you can always look back, and they always kind of like, you know, have played a role in your life. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're all a bit impactful for sure.
I can't even imagine what it would have been like to ride with Kazu at that time.
Yeah.
Like he won part of the year for that one, I think, didn't he? And Stronger? I think he
You
did.
might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just such a badass time.
Yeah.
Good snow.
Yeah.
Just like great days.
Yeah. That was
Uh,
amazing for sure.
That's fucking
And
awesome.
I always say what I like. One of the thing I like the most about filming is like actually to witness the other guys
Sure.
riding. You know, I don't see it like on a screen or anything. I just like see them destroy a spot, you know, in front
Unreal.
of my eyes. So
Yeah.
I love filming for that.
So for the last 10 years or so, most of your snowboarding's been, well, I guess it's still split between Europe and here, right? Like, is there still footage for you over there?
There's kind of like no. Would be like, of course, if you're filming with the Pirates, you're gonna be in Europe a bit more.
Yeah.
If you're filming with Volcom, you're gonna be in the US a bit more.
Cool.
So it was always like depending on who I was gonna spend the time with, where I was gonna spend the time.
Yeah.
But I feel that as a European, you have to make the effort to come here a lot, and but it's funny because I come to a point now where people are like pretty curious of back home, like they want to know how it is in Europe more. And so like a lot of people hit me up and they want to like come film in Chamonix, and they want me to show them around.
Sick.
So it's kind of cool. Like you're in Europe, you might be a bit isolated, like as a rider, like for the brands and stuff, and
Yeah.
you make the effort to come to the States. You do your own experience, and maybe at some point you become like something that, oh, like actually we want to know where you come from, and we want to discover that as well. And so it's a bit like both.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm sure in Europe, because, you know, a lot of stuff is going either through a distributor or whatever,
Yeah.
you want to get that real, you know, get on the world team
Yeah.
for an American brand.
Yeah.
And then they're going to want you to film. I guess, why would they care now? You film wherever you film.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because everybody's moving around the world so much.
Yeah, it's true, but you still like I feel it like I always say it kind of like, but you feel like even with friendship or whatever, like the distance does something, you know. It's still like we still have internet, we have like all this, but it's still like the time difference, the culture differences, and like there's still like puts a gap, and there's a big gap between Europe and the States. And I feel that, you know, like you're still a European as long as you're like staying there, you know, and you're not really much part of what's happening here. But it's totally understandable, because like there's that distance anyway, for
The
sure.
gap, right.
Yeah.
And so much stuff is happening, you know, North America. Like, that's where it's where the filmers are. It's where the industry is.
Yeah.
It's where the relationships happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
And it's where the brands like see the people like doing it, like not in front of their eyes, but kind of like close to them. So
Right.
it's just more visible.
Where are your favorite spots when you're over here?
I would
Like
say
in Canada and the States. Yeah.
I would say almost all the spots where I've been in BC. So
Right.
it's like it goes from like Seymour to Revelstoke, and like I don't know. Of course, here in Whitewater, I love to go there. I don't know. Pretty much all BC is like, for me, it's like I'm fascinated by this
Sick.
area.
Yeah.
And in the States maybe a little less. And the first time I traveled overseas, it was like to Mount Baker. So this
Dope.
place is like a bit special.
Yeah.
But I've never been back, so I'm kind of looking forward to go again one day.
Yeah.
And and Alaska for sure is like ultra special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's sick.
yeah, Haynes, and yeah, this place is amazing.
It's crazy, the snow and the terrain.
Yeah.
And then the size, like Alaska's giant, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've never been. I'm going to go one day.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, if you're lucky enough to go,
Lucky, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Valdez. Like it's like really, really tall mountains and steep and like kind of a bit more open and more cliffs and stuff. And to Haynes, where the terrain is more freestyly, more exciting, more spiny. So Haynes is like, yeah,
Oh, that's so sick.
absolutely amazing.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and the vibe in town and like being close, you're at the ocean basically, you know, level and like, and there's like, usually we go a little bit during spring season.
Yeah.
And the nature is changing and you start to see a lot of animals and like stuff blooming and like, I don't know, this period is really, really exciting in Alaska for sure.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So for this film project, you're going to just be filming with Ollie wherever
Yeah.
the snow is good.
Try to keep it simple, as I told you, like not like necessarily flying or like having drones in the air and like, you know, doing too many mimics or like trying to be like a bigger production than what we are, because we're not a big production. We're
Right.
just like, you know, Ollie.
Yeah.
So we're a one guy production, but we'll make the most of it, and I think it has its own flavor, you know, to show that like a bit of like DIY-ness in the thing, and not trying to be a super polished movie, but to show the like all the aspects of things, and like a bit of like for instance, like there was a period where I was like really super judgmental about my own shots, and they had to be perfect and the landing had to be like so on point and whatever. But by now I'm like really like almost like not the sketchier the better, but I'm fine with like being a bit like, you know, sketchy in the filming or in the snowboarding or in the choice of terrain or whatever.
It's just a different... no, I don't want to say standard, because it's not like you're like lowering your standards, but it's just like a different vibe that you're going for.
Yeah.
Like the real thing, as opposed to like a browbeaten, like polished, okay, we got to do it again, let's move over and try to get the track out of the shot and all that stuff.
A little bit more raw.
Yeah, that's dope, dude. Yeah, that sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
Who are the companies that support you right now? I mean, I know most of them.
Yeah, so it's like Union, Capita, Vans, Volcom, Electric, and then I'm like starting to write for Herschel.
Cool.
And then Sunbum.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I'm probably gonna do something with Yeti as well.
Dope.
So like there's like 3 new brands for me, like are pretty cool, and they're like I'm doing an event in the summer, they want to support it, like doing this film, like most of them want to support it, like, so it's really cool brands that want to help, like, you know, people's projects. And
that's sick.
Yeah, it's cool.
What's the summer event?
So I called it like the Musel Festival, and it's named after a mountain back home in Les Deux Alpes, and it's really like a DIY thing. Like what I was trying to use the glacier in the summer to like do some freestyle stuff, and it's kind of like some hips and like easy like snowboarding, really accessible to anyone, and everybody's invited, like from kids to like older people to
Sick.
skiers, like anybody can come session with us, and like to have a bit of music, skateboarding, do a flea market, get the money of the flea market basically, which is my boards I'm selling, get this money to help like some kind of, like last time we helped a kid that had an accident in back home, but so it's like sport and environment orientated, and we're not gonna make a ton of money to help any like bigger causes, you know,
Right,
but we're
right.
like, that's kind of still like the goal. And so it's a bit of a the cool stuff I've seen where I lived or where I was in the world, and that I want to kind of bring together, like the snowboard culture, skate culture, and like having like cool like rock bands in this place, because I didn't get to see that many shows when I was a kid there.
Right.
So I want the kids to be able to see them, and like, you know, to have this. And
You should talk to Scof as well. He did some pretty big events in the early to mid 90s, I believe. eh?
okay,
Yeah, like traveling bands and just
yeah,
huge insanity.
yeah.
Are you friends with Scof through
Yeah,
Volcom
a
a
little
bit?
bit, and
Yeah.
we're doing as I'm like kind of like starting to be a bit more of an artist. Like I'm invited to some events where we get to do. Do you know the Tidal show? Tidal.
Title? No.
No, it happened in Lax. It's kind of a
yes.
residency
Yes.
for artists, and then
That's
we
dope.
expose our stuff. And I did it this year. Scof was there,
Rad.
so I see Scof more and more, and he's pretty tight with Volcom.
Yeah.
Vance as well,
Yeah.
and a good friend of Jamie, so I see Scof quite often. Yeah.
Dude's a G. I love
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah.
And so sweet.
he is. He
I
is.
love it, like
Yeah.
how powerful but sweet he is. Like
Yeah. Yeah. We
Love
got him talking about Lemmy and Motorhead. And, yeah. He's awesome.
yeah,
A really good group of dudes with the 1910 stuff. Those guys
yeah,
are
yeah,
so fun.
yeah,
I like that. I like that vibe of like new brands, like new blood,
yeah,
you know, exciting new stuff.
yeah.
So it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see, you know, what your art projects come out with, and
Yeah, for sure. I would like, maybe it will become like a bit of a project like they do, you know.
sure.
For sure, like with Ollie, my best friend, we're like constantly talking about merch and like printing stuff, which we don't do yet. but
Right.
It's still our dream to just have like a lot of like cool designs on like on whatever we wear, you know, because it's like in the end it's just like sweaters and stuff. You can
Right.
like,
Yeah.
put a cool art on it. And
Well, there's Printful, which I have no reason to plug them, but I recently collaborated with Ethan from Bombhole, and he was showing me how to just get merch going so easily.
yeah,
Printful, you can just like drag and drop your art onto like sweaters, t-shirts, all that stuff.
yeah,
And it's like printed on demand around the world.
yeah.
So like, I mean,
Oh, that's
pretty much anybody can start a little, you just start a little thing, you put it
Yeah.
in your Insta feed
yeah.
for the, you know.
I like the idea of like being on demand and like you know, not wasting. Just
Yeah, no
Yeah.
waste, right.
It's like-
yeah.
someone wants it, is getting it, but it's not like
Right, and then
having
it
a
saves
stock of
shipping too.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So like if you're in Australia
Yeah.
and we made the t-shirt here, there's a huge environmental cost to ship it there.
Yeah,
But if the t-shirts are already there, they print it on demand one there, and
yeah,
it's good. It's like
awesome.
it's I'm still navigating it. Like I've only sold a few shirts
Yeah,
to start, but Ethan swears by it, and it's a great way to just like no more barrier to making those
Yeah.
things. You can make one for yourself. You can make 20,
yeah,
and you could just put them up, and whoever wants them gets them. It's pretty
Awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would look into that. for sure.
yeah. I'm gonna start like this. Yeah. Because I was trying to print some stuff, and it's like a little bit too DIY, you know.
Yes.
So it's cool to.
Well, I looked into it for
have
like
it done.
8 years. I kept stopping myself from doing it because I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what shirts do I want to get? And then you just get
Yeah.
down the rabbit hole of figuring it out.
Yeah.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
But with the Printful thing, it's like you could do it right now. Take a picture of that, click, put it on a shirt.
Okay.
Bam! And someone could buy it tonight.
Yeah. Well, you
It's
might
nuts.
maybe tomorrow.
There
got
you
merch.
go. Do it. Do
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What a pleasant person you are. Very happy. Have you always been like the happy-go-lucky kind of smiley dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, quite. I was at my outside. I'm like a bit like this, and then but I'm also a bit introverted and like shy. But I'm quite pleasant with people in general. So I'm a bit of everything.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the way, isn't it? That the outside personas usually has like a shadow side that's like, whatever. If you're nice, then maybe you're secretly a little bit mean, or if
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah.
outgoing, you're secretly a little bit shy.
Yeah.
So I think that comes through in your writing that you're not crewing up with like a big production of like
Yeah.
really exciting. Let's do this,
No.
big production stuff.
Yeah.
You come across as somebody that to me at least values the simplicity of something
Yeah.
rad
Yeah.
done right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always like for sure. Always a bit of it had to feel right, to do things right.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like to do them in a good way, and I never really felt like super comfortable with like acting or just like not
Right.
being real, or
Right.
I like when things are like really authentic and
Yeah.
things.
You're not doing skits and making
nah,
things.
I'm not there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Not me, and
Right.
some other people do it so good. And
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
casino, the casino
Yeah,
film just dropped.
introduction
And,
is
oh my
insane.
God,
Yeah.
those guys, it's awesome.
Yeah,
But it's, same with me. I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is what you get.
yeah,
I can't do voices. I'm not
Yeah.
dressing in a costume.
yeah.
But it's been really, really nice talking with you, man.
Thank you, Eric.
I can't tell you how honored I am to be invited into your home. I get to meet you. I'd really love to ride with you. That would
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah.
When you come to
In
Seymour, let me
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I'll tell
for sure.
Dev to come out. There's no one better to show you around Seymour than
Yeah.
Devin Walsh.
Yeah,
He just, he gets a flow line going
yeah.
wherever the snow is for that season.
That would be a dream
Yeah.
to ride with him. I never rode with Devin. So.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
it would
and
be-
he'd be stoked to show you around.
Wow.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
That's really cool.
it's fun that he stuck to Seymour as his home mountain, even
Yeah.
though you got Baker to the south, you got Whistler to the north, and of course he did all the sledding stuff. But really, you see him so lit up when he's riding Seymour.
Yeah.
It's like when you see someone at their home skate park and
Yeah.
they know how to ride it.
Yeah.
He's that dude. So,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. But I mean, the terrain is just really good there.
Isn't it incredible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like so fun.
And it's so different than the other two mountains in Vancouver.
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah.
nothing like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dope. Yeah, it's like if that whole thing was at Whistler, people would ride that chairlift all
Yeah.
the time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah,
that would be like
exactly.
a favorite zone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's dope, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank
So,
you.
Yeah, we'll
yeah.
be sick to ride together.
Yeah, that'd be great, dude. Thanks for doing the show.
Thank
and
you, Eric.
we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Keep it up. We look
Cool.
forward to your project. That's going to be so much fun.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks. Right on, man.
Cool.
FNRad shoutouts this week to Arthur Longo and Enzo. Thanks for being on the show. Extra special thanks to our solid Snowfall supporters on Patreon: Jason Porter, Anthony Torson, JP Vash, Chris Green, and Roy Arn Borseth. And a really, really special thank you to Jamie Shaw who's been randomly sending me money for the show since the beginning, and also turns out is my old buddy from Boardroom who inspired the show with his luncheon edits on Vimeo. If you get a chance, check out Jamie Shaw on Vimeo and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. He recorded with some of the Boardroom staff at lunch, put together these mini edits, and they were creative, fun, and awesome. Hey, thanks, Jamie. You rock, dude. Also, thank you to all our Patreon listeners. I'm hyped to bring you more FNRad snowboarding, presented by Skyview Campers, and brought to you by FNRad Productions. Rip Curl outerwear, strength, durability, and performance. Designed to search further in the snow, head to ripcurl.com and check out the Anti-Series jacket. I can't wait to rock this thing. Rip Curl outerwear, strength, durability, and performance. Designed to search further in the snow, head to ripcurl.com and check out the Anti-Series jacket. I can't wait to rock this thing.